Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Sit down, Pavatra.
Thank you.
Sit down. So, how are you doing this afternoon?
Sir, good.
Good. Very nice. Very nice. So, you are in Sardar Patel.
Sir, currently I am on extraordinary leave.
Okay. You are not. After joining, you did not join there at all?
No,
After
sir.
joining IPS?
No, sir. I gone to the academy just for taking extraordinary leave.
Okay. So, tell me, Sardar Patel said that civil servants are the steel frame of India. What does he meant by all that?
Sir, during the time of the independence, since there is large number of activities or development needs are required at that time, and the civil servants can act as the backbone for it. They can provide policy formulation to the policy executions and help the citizens in providing basic necessity services.
That is all? Steel frame means that's all?
So yes, sir.
Okay. Now, what do you think should be the quality of a good civil servant?
Sir, a good civil servant should be honest, have an integrity, along with empathy and compassion to deal with the common citizens.
So, what is the difference between honesty and integrity?
Sir, honesty basically deals with the words, while the integrity deals with the action of a person. A person can be honest, but can sometimes do not have integrity in doing their actions.
How is that possible? If the person is not acting honestly, how can he be called honest?
No, sir. Sorry, sir, but I mean to say that if a person can be honest but do not have an integrity, it can be a possible situation where a person is speaking something else and doing something other work.
Okay, now a large number of civil servants these days are caught in corruption-related cases. There are many stories you must have seen in the newspapers. Do you think this is a good trend?
So I do not think so. It's a good trend that they are engaging in corruption activities and doing all such things.
So what will you do to tackle this trend if you are selected in IAS, for example, or you're already in IPS? So what will you do?
So for this thing, we need to strengthen the transparency and accountability in the systems, along with inculcating the ethical values in a civil servant, so that they should not, first of all, engaging in such things. And if there are certain apprehensions or issues, then there should be proper transparency, accountability, and proper investigations so that no such thing will happen.
But there are many laws today, they mandatorily require transparency. They also punish those who are corrupt, but still it's going on.
Sir, it's an issue that...
Tell me what are the laws and what is this, organizational framework to tackle corruption in the country?
So for the organizational structure, we have the Central Bureau of Investigations and the Lokpal. For the legal aspect, we have the Prevention of Corruption Act. And for ensuring transparency, we have the Right to Information Act. Then, sir, in multiple states, and we have to declare our assets and other liabilities on the portals.
But Lokpal, criminal, CBI, they are not for civil servants directly, no? For civil servants, there are different systems.
Sir, the Central Vigilance Commission is also there.
Yeah, that is one of them. What else?
So that's can I remember right?
Okay. Now, the Supreme Court turned down the law which was passed by the Parliament for appointment of judges.
Yes, sir.
And they want to continue as of today the so-called collegium system. Do you think this system is good enough, or do we need a change? If so, what should be the change?
Sir, in the collegiate systems, the judges are appointing themselves. So there are issue of proper check and balances and transparency. So, sir, the system needs to be changed. And, sir, in the NGAC, there are certain apprehensions from the Supreme Court side that there is lack of representations or veto power to the Supreme Court. So we can change the NGAC to accommodate such changes and can bring out the new law for it.
Okay. Thank you.
What are the responsibilities of an IAS officer in India?
So, in the initial phases, they are mostly engaging in the policy executions at the ground level and maintaining, conducting of elections, disaster management roles, and engaging directly with the public. While, sir, as they go higher up, they are more engaging in the policy formulations.
Yeah, go on.
So they are more engaging in the policy formulations, having meetings with multiple representation from the industries and the academias, foreign experts to formulate the policy for the country.
So what is it in the IAS that attracts you?
So the diversity which is providing me to work in the various fields like the health, education, and others, and engaging in development activities which is going to be taken place in the next 20-25 years for making India a developed country.
Is the IAS an All India service?
Yes, sir.
Which are the other All India services?
So we have three All India services. It's the Indian Administrative Service, Indian Police Service, Indian Forest Service.
And what is All India about the Indian Administrative Service? You just get allotted to a state cadre. You work there for the whole of your life. If you want to come, you can come to the government of India, but it's entirely your choice. So otherwise, you have the option to stay in your state and work there for the whole of your life. So what is All India about the service?
So the reason being they are termed as All India services because they are under the administrative control of the state also during their terms in the state, and they can come to the center also for the formulation of the policies or engaging in other departments for All India level.
So don't you think they are called All India because they manage the resources at an All India level? Officers of the IAS and the IPS and the Forest Service manage resources of the state and the center at an All India level. Is it because of that?
Sir, it can be one of the point for it.
You haven't given it a thought. Have you? Have you thought about it?
Sir, I think, sir, I need to more think about it.
But the service rules are also called as the All India Service Rules. Now, in a case study situation, suppose you have a boss, you have an officer above you, who asks you to do something illegal. Right? Not exactly, it may not even be illegal, it's, let's say, unethical. In that case, what would be your response? What would be, how would you handle the situation?
Sir, if it's legal but unethical, then I will aware my senior that there can be certain issues regarding it, as it's can violate something ethical principles. And if there is a written instruction, then I will continue with it.
Suppose he doesn't give you written instruction, he just tells you orally.
Then, sir, I will resist him and do not follow the instructions.
What will be your response otherwise? What else can you do?
Sir, I can also aware the higher ups further that certain instructions has been given regarding this issue.
But he will write your confidential report. So if you go to a person above him, he would obviously be angry with you.
Sir, it's the basic principle of a civil servant to hold the rule of law and do not engage in some unethical. Sir, the annual confidential report can be reviewed if we go for complaining regarding it that we want some changes, but we should follow the rule of law at last.
Suppose you're posted in Rajasthan. Let's say you're allotted to Rajasthan cadre. How would you develop tourism in Rajasthan? I think Rajasthan has got a great potential for tourism.
Yes, sir.
Because of its proximity to Delhi, because of the large number of palaces and forts. So many reasons why it's a colorful place.
So first of all, I will find out what are the issues which are taking place and taking down the tourism in the Rajasthan, and whether it is the connectivity issue, hospitality sector, or the lack of information among the tourists regarding it. Then, sir, step by steps, I will tackle all the issues by providing them for engaging in the construction of the infrastructure in the region. Better tourist guides skilling can be provided to them so that they can engage with the foreign tourists.
Why
Then
only foreign? Why not Indian tourists?
because sir, I think in the foreign tourists they need to communicate in the foreign language so that they can well verse with them. While sir, for the Indian tourists also sir, we are having large number of tourist guides and we can.
Guides for the Indian tourists also. Yeah, that's right. Go on.
And then sir, the low cost hospitality sector can be focused on to provide individuals so that they can stay.
Now, let's say you're a DM of a district, and do you think the SP works under you or he works with you? What kind of a relationship would you like to imagine between a DM and a SP?
I think that they are both acting in a team. No one is superior to the other.
So the SP always has a feeling that you have a higher rank and that's the reason why he should not be saluting you and why should I bother about him? There's always a tendency to disobey, isn't it?
Sorry sir, I'm not aware.
You don't agree with that or you're not aware of that?
Sir, I'm not aware regarding it.
So what do you think is the relationship between the IAS and the IPS? How do you think that, suppose it's the Home Secretary is an IAS officer, the DGP is a police officer. The DGP has direct access to the CM, which is obvious. So does the ID intelligence. The Home Secretary sometimes is not even kept informed about what the DGP tells the CM. In such a situation, what will you do as the Home Secretary?
Sir, I think both need to work in a team. No one should, both the DGP and the Home Secretary in the case of law and order and within their domains should engage with together to solve any issue and in providing information to the higher ups.
Okay, Pavitra, you are posted as assistant DM at one of the problematic districts of Manipur, where Kuki Meitei fight all along. You use your power as the IAS officer and coordinate with all IPS or whoever you want. How do you solve the problem and impart justice in all dimensions?
So first of all, there should be a sense of communication with the localite that we are here and we will hear you.
How to make communication? They are killing each other. Where is the communication? How do you do?
So for this thing, from the lower hierarchy to the higher ups, all needs to communicate with the citizens. And since the local...
Do you think nobody is communicating now? Chief Minister and all the IAS, IPS, all paramilitary forces, CPOs, army, nobody is communicating. Nobody is coordinating. Is it so?
No, sir, they are communicating with
Understand the reality of ground realities and respond.
Then, sir, I think, sir, the first of all, the speedy trials and investigation should be done.
You should know the root causes of the problem first. Right?
Yes, sir.
Do you agree?
Yes, sir.
Unless you know the root causes, diagnosed properly, and whether a feasible, doable solutions are there or not, you can't do a thing.
Yes, sir.
You have to coordinate with the police and all other, because as a district guide, you are the guy who coordinates.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I won't ask more on that. In sir was telling about Home Secretary and IB Chief and all. In Home Ministry, no IPS guy is kept other than the paramilitary force head and all, who is under the Home Secretary's control. Why? Whereas a person like my service can be Joint Secretary there. I was. Why?
So, I think, sir, it is because that the Home Secretary has to do functions other than the law and order, and
Not only, let us say Defense Ministry. All the defense people are kept under the Defense Secretary, who is an IAS officer. Army Chief, everyone reports to. Why?
sir, he can act as a funnel between the political leaders and the ministers and the special.
He can be act between the minister and others. Why?
Because sir, he can funnel the right kind of information to the higher ups and can also provide better directions to the lower ups.
Think over, no problem. What do you understand by justice in the Constitution? The term justice defined in the Constitution.
So justice, as in the preamble, should be social, economic, and political in nature.
Now let us give all the dimensions of justice to the poorest of the poor in Bundelkhand region of UP, where hunger and malnutrition, poverty, all these are the realities. How do you go ahead?
Sir, while in the short term, focus should be on providing them the essential services and
What essential services?
so providing them the food under the Pradhan Mantri Garib and Yojana, water.
What are the yojanas available now?
So for the food, we have the Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Ann Yojana. For the water, we have the Jal Jeevan missions. For the LPG, we have the Ujjwala Yojana. Then so for housing, we can.
Okay, last question, you go ahead, you understand that. It is important. What is Bundelkhand region? How many districts from UP? How many from Uttarakhand, Uttar Pradesh? And what is the kind of region it is?
So Bundelkhand comprises 13 districts, 7 from the Uttar Pradesh and 6 from the Madhya Pradesh.
Okay, that's it. Thank you, sir.
You had your lunch? Huh? Next time you must have your lunch so that your energy looks high. You're doing pretty well. You're already an IP, so you don't have to worry too much about it. I'm going to ask you some very simple questions. Justify Armed Forces Special Power Act in Northeast states for 65 years.
So since from the time of the independence, we have large number of insurgencies and the secessionist activities in the northeast region. So we have the ASFA in the region.
That is known. Why? Why are the insurgencies taking place? 3 reasons, that's all.
So they have a sense of alienation from the rest of the India. Then sir, secondly, lack of development activities which are going in the region. And sir, thirdly, the employment opportunities and the sense of oneness in them that they form their own country.
Okay, so now let me take you from India and take you abroad. Tell me validity of NATO after demise of Warsaw Pact in 92. Validity of NATO. No problem, that's a great attitude. I make another statement. Development is antithesis of society. When the development takes place, demographic shift takes place. So we should not go for development, as I see in the European countries. There's huge demographic shift because they're all developed countries. What is the way ahead for India?
Sir, India should focus on the more sustainable development and providing equal opportunities to all, and women participation should be at the forefront.
The women participation is maximum in the developed world. They provide equal opportunities. Think of this answer once again, once you go back. When is your interview?
The 12th of March.
March, so you have 10 days to mull over it. Tell me, our Pradhan Mantri was giving those badges to Gaganyaan people. Why should we go to moon? Why waste so much of money? Put it on development here. Why should we go to moon?
So both are the priorities. We should work on our land and also focus more on the space explorations, as it has multiple benefits. First of all, it will provide us the information which is how the space is working and how it's impacting our Earth. Then secondly, sir, it also promotes the science and tech environment in our country, and it also highlights the India space power.
Okay, good points. They can be better, but not bad. My last question to you, and where I say that freedom of the people have been impinged by implementation of UCC in Uttarakhand, wherein live-in relationship has come into a legal ambit. Your take on it.
So, since UCC in Uttarakhand has makes the changes that live-in relation should be registered with the registrar. So, sir, I think it hinders the right to privacy and right to life of a young adult.
Now you are an IPS officer, they say, give amendment. What will you amend?
Sir, I will persuade them that they should more liberal provision should be there in the as sir, since they are more they are providing them that domestic violence act, sir, it's already covered.
Think about it once again. I'll cut you short there. And my last thing, you mentioned that transparency and accountability is we must increase transparency and accountability when discussing with chairman. Do we want India to become a surveillance state? Transparency means I am watching.
But sir, a civil servant.
Accountability means I am taking care of what is happening.
Sir, both transparency and accountability are also necessary to ensure that the civil servants working within the purview of the law and the citizens have access to them, how their civil servants are working and how their politicians are working.
Thank you very much. I enjoyed interacting with you. Good job. Think.
Mr. Pavitra, very good afternoon. So you are from UP. So there is one fiscal lesson which UP budget can teach to every other state. Can you name that?
Sir, it's a revenue surplus budget and it's for balancing both the revenue expenditure and the capital expenditure.
So given that huge amount of population, how did the UP government manage to get into revenue surplus? Is this the first time?
Sir, I think it's the third or fourth time that the government is going for that. So the reason being that the government is having a revenue surplus is the buoyant tax basis, and the GST collection has been boosted to more than 1 lakh crores. Then the state's own revenue from the excise and the land taxes is also boosting. That's why, sir, it's a revenue surplus.
Okay, so something related to the budget again. We keep hearing about double engine Sarkar. So what are they implying there? Is it like if you elect the state government also with the central government, will they give more funds or will there be any discrimination, or what exactly are they trying to say there?
Sir, I think it's a political jargon that having the same party in both the state and the central will help in better implementation of the policy and better communication with the higher ups. But sir, in the fiscal domain, if we look, we have a very well-defined formulas and the distribution network, and every state will get its share based on it. So I do not think so that it focus more on the fiscal devolution to the states in a double engine Sarkar government.
Okay, so can you tell very important updates or say 3 key features of the latest criminal laws?
Sir, the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita has a focus more on the community service as a punishment, and it also strengthened the laws against the women. It also brings the ambits under the terrorism or the transnational crimes within it. And the Bharatiya Nagrik Suraksha Sanhita, it's bring the joint trials within its purview. It's also liberalized the under trials provisions. While sir, Indian Evidence Act, it bring the digital evidence within the purview of primary laws, primary evidence, and it's also provide provision for absentee proceedings.
Okay. So, and very recent Supreme Court judgment on electoral bonds. How is it going to impact the upcoming elections?
Sir, since upcoming elections are very near, and recent scrapping will bring the system of election funding back to the previous one, and
That previous one.
So in the previous one, there is no such thing electoral bonds, while cash donations is allowed up to the 2000s and unknown donations can be allowed up to 20,000 rupees. And it also places a limitation on the companies having profits, and they can donate only up to 7.5% of their profit.
They strict there. with these limits, or will it lead to more black money like before?
Sir, it will, companies will limit it to the purview of 7.5%, but black money issues are need to tackle in the election funding as bringing more transparency in it and reducing the cash donations and bringing who are donating to the political parties is a necessary thing.
Okay. So, and with respect to civil engineering, one last question. So, we are coming up with a lot of smart materials in the various construction or utilization. Can you name some examples of smart materials?
So the smart materials like the smart bricks are there. Then sir, the self-healing concrete, self-compacting concrete is the one thing. Then autoclaved aerated concrete blocks are the ones. Then sir, with the civil engineering, smart technologies has also incorporated like the 3D technology, then the slip form construction techniques, then the prefab ring technology to make the building more smart in nature.
What do you mean by smart in nature?
The smart thing in this that there must be more incorporation of the sensors and information of technology in the building, and integration of more ease of living, and focusing more on the HVA systems or the high-tech communication system, so that it reduces the consumption of energy, along with focus more on the ease of living.
There is certain aspect, another dimension related to resilience to various stress, auto adjustments or temperature, so all of these. So go through those things. Thank you.
Okay, so wish you good luck. You will do very well.
Cross 200.
Yeah.
You are excellent here.
Thank you.
I have given you a very useful input, use that.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.